Configuring Query Store for Azure SQL Scale-Out is a crucial step in optimizing the performance of your database. Query Store is a feature that allows you to store and manage query execution plans, providing valuable insights into query performance. To configure Query Store for Azure SQL Scale-Out, follow these steps. First, ensure that Query Store is enabled on your Azure SQL database. You can do this by running the following command in SQL Server Management Studio or Azure Data Studio. Next, configure the data flush interval and the statistics collection interval. The data flush interval determines how often query execution plans are written to disk, while the statistics collection interval determines how often query execution statistics are collected. To configure these settings, use the alter database command with the set query_store option. For example, to set the data flush interval to 15 minutes and the statistics collection interval to 1 minute, use the following command. After configuring Query Store, you need to configure the max storage size and the stale query threshold. The max storage size determines the maximum amount of disk space that Query Store can use, while the stale query threshold determines how long a query can remain in the cache before it is removed. To configure these settings, use the alter database command with the set query_store option. For example, to set the max storage size to 10 GB and the stale query threshold to 24 hours, use the following command. Once you have configured Query Store, you can monitor query performance using the Query Store views. The SYS query_store_runtime_stats view provides information about query execution plans, while the SYS query_store_wait_stats view provides information about query wait times. To scale out your Azure SQL database, use the Azure SQL Database Elastic Pool feature. This feature allows you to create a pool of databases that share a set of resources, such as CPU and memory. To create an elastic pool, use the Azure portal or the Azure CLI. When creating an elastic pool, you need to specify the pool name, the edition, and the performance level. You also need to specify the number of databases that will be included in the pool and the maximum amount of resources that each database can use. After creating the elastic pool, you can add your Azure SQL database to the pool. To do this, use the Azure portal or the Azure CLI. By following these steps, you can configure Query Store for Azure SQL Scale-Out and optimize the performance of your database. Remember to monitor query performance regularly and adjust your Query Store configuration as needed to ensure optimal performance.